Operation Overlord, the untold inside story of D-Day that saved the free world, unfolds as one of history's most defining military undertakings, a turning point that reshaped the course of World War II and ultimately preserved the idea of a free world. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched the largest amphibious invasion ever attempted, storming the beaches of Normandy in a mission so massive and risky that many generals privately questioned whether it could succeed. Modern historians often describe Operation Overlord as a miracle of planning, intelligence, and sacrifice. But behind that polished narrative lies a deeper, more human story, one shaped by fear, conflict, doubt, and the relentless drive to end Nazi tyranny. Many Americans today know the broad strokes of D-Day, but the untold details reveal an operation built on innovation, deception, and the extraordinary courage of ordinary soldiers who understood that failure could doom the world to darkness. The roots of Operation Overlord stretch back years before a single boot hit the sand. According to historical analyses, the Allies recognized early on that defeating Hitler would require a full-scale invasion of Western Europe, something unimaginably difficult considering the strength of Nazi fortifications along the Atlantic Wall. Some experts argue that the operation's real genius lay not only in its military might, but in its deception. Reports from declassified documents reveal that the Allies constructed an entire phantom army, complete with inflatable tanks, fake radio chatter, and a fabricated command structure led by General George Patton. This grand deception, known as Operation Fortitude, convinced German intelligence that the invasion would land at Pas-de-Calais, far from Normandy. While some historians note that German commanders were already stretched thin and uncertain, others emphasize that the deception significantly diverted German troops, giving the Allies a critical advantage on D-Day. Yet even perfect deception could not guarantee success. As dawn broke on June 6th, nearly 156,000 Allied troops crossed the English Channel under bleak gray skies and rough seas. American GIs approaching Omaha Beach had been warned of heavy defenses, but many were shocked by the intensity of German machine gun fire that greeted them. Survivors described the landing craft doors dropping open straight into a hailstorm of bullets. Some accounts report that certain units suffered nearly 50% casualties within the first hour alone. While historians caution that exact numbers vary by source, most agree that the carnage at Omaha was among the worst of the entire war. Still, amid chaos and devastation, small groups of soldiers pushed forward, crawling across open sand, scaling cliffs, destroying bunkers, and slowly turning an impossible landing into a foothold. Meanwhile, British and Canadian forces faced their own fierce battles at Gold, Juno, and Sword Beaches. Although their casualties were lower compared to Omaha, they confronted deadly obstacles, underwater mines, and entrenched German positions that had been reinforced for months. According to military reports, some Allied units moved faster than expected, pushing inland rapidly and securing key roads. Their progress was critical in preventing German armored divisions from launching a coordinated counterattack. In the air, thousands of Allied bombers and fighters flew support missions, though historians still debate the effectiveness of some pre-invasion bombing runs, noting that heavy clouds caused many bombs to fall off target. One of the lesser-known yet crucial components of Operation Overlord was the role of airborne divisions. Hours before the beach landings, American paratroopers from the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, along with British and Canadian airborne units, dropped behind enemy lines in a daring nighttime operation. Reports suggest that due to high winds and anti-aircraft fire, many paratroopers were scattered miles from their intended drop zones. Yet despite the confusion, these troops disrupted communications, captured bridges, and blocked reinforcements, actions that experts say made the difference between success and failure on D-Day. Some historians mention that German commanders later admitted the paratroopers' unexpected presence caused significant hesitation and slowed their response. Behind every strategic victory on D-Day were countless acts of personal bravery. Medics treating wounded soldiers under direct fire, engineers removing mines while bullets zipped overhead, and naval crews steering through exploding shells all contributed to a mission that demanded everything from everyone. Numerous first-hand accounts describe the emotional weight these troops carried. Letters from home stuffed into uniform pockets, quiet fears shared with bunkmates, and the knowledge that liberation depended on their endurance. Many Americans tuning into this story today might wonder how such courage was possible, but veterans often explained it simply. They were fighting for each other and for a world that deserved to be free. As Allied forces established control of the beaches by nightfall, Operation Overlord entered its next phase, the brutal push inland. Although the initial landings are widely celebrated, the days that followed were marked by intense hedgerow fighting, slow advances, and staggering casualties on both sides. Some experts note that while D-Day itself was a triumph, the liberation of France required weeks of harsh close-quarter combat. Still, the foothold gained on June 6th made everything else possible. Without that single day of coordinated courage, the war might have dragged on for years longer, giving Nazi Germany time to strengthen its defenses or develop new weapons. The untold story of Operation Overlord also includes the extraordinary logistical effort that supported it. From constructing artificial harbors, known as mulberry harbors, to laying undersea fuel pipelines, Allied engineers built a temporary infrastructure capable of sustaining an entire army. According to engineering reports, these innovations were unprecedented and remain studied by military planners today. Some experts argue that the logistical mastery of Overlord was just as important as the fighting itself, proving that wars are won not only by courage, but by detailed preparation. Reflecting on D-Day today, nearly 80 decades later, Americans continue to see Operation Overlord as a testament to what can be achieved when nations stand together against tyranny. While historical interpretations may differ, some emphasizing leadership, others highlighting intelligence, and still others focusing on individual sacrifice, there is broad agreement that D-Day changed the direction of the war. The soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy knew the stakes. They understood that failure was not an option, and that success meant giving future generations the chance to live, speak, gather, and believe freely. That's why Operation Overlord remains not just a military victory, but a symbol of collective determination. As we revisit this chapter of history, it's worth remembering that freedom often comes at the highest cost, paid by those who never sought glory, but answered the call of duty. Their story is not just a tale of strategy and battlefields, it is a reminder of the human spirit's capacity for courage when the world needs it most. And that's something worth remembering every time we reflect on the price of freedom today.